Okay, so here we are at the start of turn 2 of Struggle for the Galactic Empire, the first scenario. Alright. Started drawing some events. The first one was a power struggle, killed a leader. I should have had this in the pool because the next one was an Imperial leader arises. You draw a random leader. I ended up with one. I think I took it here. And then I got an independent empire there. Now, an independent empire is going to do the following. It ended up in the location with the system. Otherwise, it would start spiraling down towards the core. So that system converts, but also all of the units in that system convert. Now, I think the leader disappears. There's no instructions that say that, but this empire uses this value of leadership for everything in that empire. And now I also pull out an independent empire. Ooh. Uh-oh. I think I just pull out an independent empire. I don't have to use a specific number. I'm not sure. See, I thought it was going to be... Okay. Place the independent empire if the area contains... So let's look at leadership. The independent leadership value. Let me see if it's supposed to have another draw. Is the independent corresponding with the identification marker? For example, independent empire number 1. Well, I think this is independent empire number 3. But I think that may also be its leadership value for that empire. I think that's the case. And that's going to be a die roll modifier for any combats that it's involved in. It also affects... something else here. The operations die roll for the empire. It's going to be a positive for that, I guess. Making it more likely to do something impressive. And, well, we'll follow the rest of the rules for the empire, which will be the expansion rules. Based on what it does on here, essentially it's going to at best try to expand into one other area each turn. But it kind of divides its forces between homeworld and otherwise. So I don't know if that thing can convert though. Now I would have been allowed to suppress this, and I think this was actually somewhere around here was probably where I had my nexus before that I lost. But I don't have a nexus, so I can't. However, I do have repression markers. You know, handing over this much to something may be a pain in the ass. I'm going to toss, let's see, if I roll a 1, 4 of these would only still give me a 5, so I'm not guaranteed anything. A 9 would only give me an alienation. I'm going to throw all 4 of my suppression power, my repression power into this, because that's a pretty annoying event right there. So I get a 10. That's going to be a suppression plus alienation. The alienation means I get 4 chaos. This was the risk of using so many markers, as I increase my effective alienation. But you know what? I get to keep my leader. This marker goes in the discard pile, and I don't get this stupid empire in place. I think that was worth doing. This is a valuable territory with a 3 production value. I would rather not have that problem. Alright, let's flip over another one, see what we're getting here. We're getting another alien, the Living Nebula. Let's see what this is. Place it in a sector containing a system symbol determined at random. Well, we can do that. We're used to doing that. That's a lot of this game. Okay, so we're going to go in 14. if that has a system. It does have a system symbol. That's good enough for this. It doesn't have to actually have a system in it. No units of either side may exit the system during movement. The Galactic Empire may not collect resource points. Independent empires can't count it for determining their resources. And then on each turn, we're going to have a chance that it's eliminated, basically. If any leader is thrown in against it, that'll have a chance of being eliminated. And that works for me. All right, let's flip another one. This is going to be Imperial Elite's Demand. Now, there was a question on this online. I'm not going to go looking up questions or anything any more than I'm going to look for the second edition of the rules. Play this marker only if using the opposite. Yes, I am. So this is some of the negatives of playing with the optional rules, is there may be some events that don't affect you without them. The player may not recruit any Imperial Illumination, and you double the maintenance cost for Imperial Nexus. That's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to put that over in my Imperial expenditure phase so that I look that up. I don't see what kind of question could arise from that. That seems pretty simple. And now we get to our rebellion. I'm going to go offline while I process the rest of the events unless something interesting comes up. Last turn, first of all, I had this rebellion show up in the same damn province. Okay, fine. Everything goes because I have no more suppression ability. I don't have the chits to force it, even though I have units here. Everything converts except probably this IO. I went looking for the rule on the IO because somewhere I remember, hey, those are invulnerable to certain kinds of events or something, certain ways of converting them. I think it's events, and that's what I'm going to play by right now. Because when I look it up in the damn rulebook, and I know I've noted this before, probably when I was looking before, that specific unit is called out here. They give definitions of all the units. It represents elite units completely dedicated to the cause of the Empire. Great! Where's the special rule on it? Where the hell am I supposed to find that? At least there should be notes indexing into the rules as to where that special rule is. And there's a lot of problems with that. Maybe it's under rebellion or something else, but I feel like it was something more general than that. But I think what it was, yeah, it's not in here. It's somewhere else in the rules. Oh, there it is. They've got their own rule for it, but it doesn't reference into that when they give you the explanation of the counters. So, you look in one place. So, yes, it's not converted by usurper, independent empire, or rebellion. So that's going to be safe. I did lose my leader, though. That automatically happens with a rebellion. And anyway, when looking at that, I realized something that I didn't realize because I was looking for so many damn charts, you don't internalize many of them. I saw this chaos index change chart. Now this is also on here. Last turn, I forgot completely to pay attention to this when I succeeded in taking things. Now I did eliminations due to morphogenic, which would change the resource value, and so mobile units morphogenicized are -2. And chaos systems are the resource value. Damned if I know everything that I converted. I'm assuming it's this. 3, 5, I think, 6, 7. I probably hit a unit. Some of the, I hit a pile of units somewhere. 6, 7. Shit, I don't know. 8, 9. And I think I got some of... I got this, 10, I'm not sure what else. So I'm going to deduct 10 chaos from my situation because I should have succeeded in reducing chaos that much last turn, and I'm sure somebody's going to catch that because, it's going to load up wrong. Now, that reduction in chaos means that I actually only drew 8 chits this turn, so I'm going to throw 1 back instead of the 9 that I had. Hey, it's a solo game. It's okay. It happens to me. Okay. Well, since we're on camera again, Expedition possible. Okay, and we know how this is going to play out. I'm going to roll and put this. Okay, so the Dark Emperor showed up as well, or Dark Empire, another alien. And this one goes in a random sector with a symbol, and we've got that. It's going to be alien expedition table, morphogenetic value for the Imperial and Chaos units, including parenthesized, is added to the die roll, and an Imperial leader's added. And if I get a negative result, everything that's present there sort of is destroyed, all Imperial and Chaos units and other alien markers. If it's intermediate, it'll also take out the Dark Empire. This sounds exactly like the biomech Predators. I'm not sure that there's any difference between them. And then in positive, it just gets rid of the Dark Empire. And then they go into the same rules here. The only difference is these are xenophobic aliens who use psionic powers. I think maybe the biomech Predators should have been combat value instead of morphogenetic. Because these are psionic and these are material vessels, and it really doesn't make sense to use the morphogenetic powers as much against like these killer machines. So I'm guessing that that's kind of an errata type situation. I'm not going to worry too much about it right here, but it certainly would have hurt me last turn had that been the case, because I had more trouble. Well, not so much with building and using. I could have thrown regular military units in against him, so it's really not that big a deal. But I think that's how I want to do it, and I'm going to pencil that in because that's probably what's meant to be. Anyway, we're done with that, and we push on to the Chaos Operations. Okay, so when we move to the Chaos Operations, there were not any usurpers, independent empires, or invaders left. So we just go to rebels, and this is the first one coming out from the core. So I make a quick roll, and I get an attrition result. I was kind of hoping I'd get an attack result because I wanted to discuss a few things, and I'll do that anyway, which is, okay, these have 0 combat strength on them, so they wouldn't have to attack, which is a reason physically. They would make a morphogenetic attack against this, which they have an advantage on. So that's a reason not to only have stacks of CGs. Make sure you have like a crappy military unit in it too, because then you might force them to destroy themselves in physical military combat. Of course, you largely get to choose what forces the rebels have an option to attack. This is one of the rare cases where you don't, where the Imperial Order survives the revolt. They will not survive the morphogenetic combat if it happened. But attrition is new for us. So let's see what happens in it. Eliminate 1 mobile unit in the force. Choose at random if need be. The force does not move or attack in this phase. So one of these CGs disappears. And that's all that happens there. I bought them all. I should have known that. I like to do that. And now we whip around looking for the next place, which I think is over here. I wish I had a different colored thing, but I keep forgetting to. All right, so now this can possibly make an attack, but it can't because we are within range of the Messiah. And I got to be careful because next turn the Messiah is going to be out to range 2. Very, very destructive in terms of affecting the play of the game. My understanding from someone's comment online is the second edition changes the Messiah in some significant way. I have no idea how. I find it an annoyance, but an interesting flavor to the game, watching the Messiah sweep across the board. It could actually put you in a really weird situation. I think, I forgot to roll for this guy. I still have to roll for that guy anyway. So I have to roll for this guy because he could go into an independent empire. And yes, he does. Now, for this, I grab an independent empire marked, say, number 4, and place it there. And that has now become an independent empire. It'll follow the independent empire rules, which might just mean that it starts producing. In fact, it will start producing in this turn. Potentially. We'll see what the die roll is for that. And then we whip around some more. We get to this. This I still have to roll. It might take an attrition, I guess. There's not a whole lot that can happen to it. 6 is no move and attack. It's not allowed to attack because of the Messiah. So we keep swinging around. And let's see, we get to here, pump up here. There's another red there. And this takes a no move plus attack, and it can't attack. It's a system. And that's the end of my independence. Now, there was something I wanted to speak to. The independent empires. So, numbers 4 through 6 are reserved for rebels going forward. If you've got 3 of those independent empires that have come from rebel planets on the board already, you can no longer create any more of them. The other 3 rebel empires, as we saw with one of them, are coming from the cup, and that's the only way they can come into play. And you can only have one of them. If you end up drawing the same one, I think you throw it back in the cup. No usurpers, no chaos colonization. We go to independent empire recruiting. Look up the rules to save some camera. The nice thing about cutting the camera off, which I can do when I'm playing because I know I'm going to have to put together the video by piecing all the parts together, which is a pain in the ass, of course, is that I can walk away, fill a pipe, grab some coffee, whatever, clip a counter. That's how I like to clip my counters, just sort of one at a time, or a few when I'm boiling tea or whatever. I'm looking for the table now. There is a table for independent empire recruitment up here. And of course, the more you play, the more you're going to get used to it. You have the resource value of the systems for the entire empire and the leadership value of the counter. I think this guy gets a random leader. In fact, I just looked that up not long ago, and I'm pretty damn sure of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach into my counter tray and pull him out a random leader. This replaces the number here, I guess. I really don't know. It acts as though there's a leadership value on these suckers, and there appears to be one on the control counter for some of the other empires, but for the empires out of the cup, but there doesn't. It's slightly different. It's not, just a number sign. Maybe there's. No, there's no number here. Okay, so I'm going to be adding 2 plus the system value, which is also 2, so I'm at +4 on that. And I get a total of 6. I'm going to get an SF. What's an SF? A Star Force. And that also gets an independent empire marker on it, I guess. Although it may not really need one. And that's the home fleet right now. Now, if I get an action where I have to go conquer, I split the home fleet into a mobile fleet and a non-mobile fleet, and I invade with that. If I had been building troops, they go into the mobile fleet automatically, so I keep reinforcing the mobile fleet for whatever reason. Alright, well, this is going to be a threat to me. Now I go to Imperial Resource Collection. If I've done all my numbers correctly, oh god, I bet you I haven't been paying attention. Shit. Yeah, I'm sure I haven't, so I'm going to have to recount all those numbers because I haven't been maintaining the tracks. That'll learn me, yeah? Okay, so I lost a few points in income, about 4 points, and about the same in maintenance costs. I was keeping track until this turn. Yeah. Last turn I did a good job, I think. You can never be sure. So now I get my big income of 51. I have an extra 10, so I'm out here. We push this forward, and what is my problem? Imperial Elites demands. Now, we looked this up before, but I gotta remember, I can now recruit Illumination, and I double the maintenance for Nexus. I haven't paid my maintenance yet. I gotta count my Nexus counters because they're already included in the maintenance cost, but 1, 2, 3... I think I'm down to 3 of them. So that's $6 more maintenance. So I'm gonna owe $52 here. That puts me down to a grand total of only 9. Yeah, not gonna have a lot of extra money here. I probably don't want to buy much, if anything. I don't want to decrease my resource points beyond that. I want to have some padding here. On the other hand, I am facing some significant problems in certain sectors of the galaxy, and I have a big pile of fleets here that isn't doing me much good. Everything's movement 2 except for this AF. And anywhere it can reach that's kind of interesting looks like it's covered by my Messiah there. So, and that's not going to hurt my chances of doing this expedition. What that kind of means to me is that maybe I want to demobilize some of those units and build things closer to stuff that's a problem. Now, is this a problem yet? Not quite yet. This is going to be Messiah-fied fairly soon. I've really got to do something about those Messiahs, among other things. So I've got to look for my leaders. I've got a leader here that I could drop on this Messiah, and a leader here I can drop on this one. That'll help me a little bit, but I may want to get some forces here. My mutagenic or morphogenic or whatever is very not quite high enough here. So I think I'm going to want to downgrade some of my units. So for example, let's take a quick look. So if I want to build another control group, it's going to cost me 4 units basically of maintenance cost. I could take some of my resource points there, but let's say instead I drop these 4 units and take another one here. And I'm going to put that on top of the system to remind me that I'm buying that one. And that works out a wash in terms of points. Elsewhere, these guys, I maybe could drop one of these and get another point for that. But I don't feel like I really want to cut my my power too much. How about an attack here? Can I make one? I don't have really good odds for a... I could do a combat here and knock it out and at least get rid of the problem. That might be more effective. I've got this. I've got stuff within range of that I can probably convert that over. All right. I think we'll stay as we are. We go to colonization, and there's not going to be any. I still haven't built any colony ships. And then imperial movement. And now, you know, I'm going to try to affect those decisions that I was making in the purchase phase. I always have trouble planning ahead in circumstances like this where, you know, you have a lot of different places to concern yourself with. It's one of the things that, like, the operational combat system is kind of tough for me, because it's like, well, except with that, I can just say, well, I need a bunch of supplies over here. I need more troops over here. And I can combine those two thoughts, and hopefully my intuition works, and it usually has with it, even if I don't know the game terribly well. I find it a lot harder with something like Desert Fox, where you really kind of have to calculate to the last point, because there are ways that you can trick the supply system into not costing you anything. Likewise with this, I feel like I really have too much knowledge of what the enemy has, so I can kind of optimize my points much better. I don't like that kind of thinking. I don't like to have to do all that math. So I'm not going to do it, and it may cost me. But like I've said, I think I can do pretty well in this game. It doesn't feel terribly hard, actually. Now we're in Imperial combat, and I don't want to try to optimize my choices. I'm going to just spiral my way up and do this. I don't have to do this, but it's the only way I'm going to remember. So I've got a big morphogenetic attack here with 7 against 3. And that's +4. And let's see if I can remember what I want to do here. Now, I don't have the bonus anymore from pacifism. So all I get is a D0. That's sufficient to convert this over. And what do I get? 1 point for that, right? I think 2 for conversion. No, military's the 2. Ah, geez, I probably cheated. Each chaos mobile unit that's converted due to imperial morphogenetic is -2. They're actually inverted. I wonder if that's intended. Okay, so it is -2, so I get rid of some of the chaos index, but I don't really help things. And on top of that, I gotta worry about my maintenance goes up. All right. Where's my... I need this to mark where I am. Okay, now I'm up here, and I was making an attack with 6 against 3, so I'm at +3, but I've got -2 to the die roll. That's not really as pleasant as I might hope. I probably shouldn't have done this. That's a 1. That's going to be an attacker 1. I don't lose anything, but I'm not getting anything off of it. I zip around. We get to here. I can't do anything here yet. I've positioned a leader. I used my... oh no, I used a CG there for that. I don't know where these guys are. I can't really do anything here until it's the alien phase. I can't make an attack on that. So that again on the alien phase. Where to here? Now this I'm actually attacking. So I've got 6, 7, 8 to 0. That gets me at the top of the chart. I don't get any additional bonuses for being there, but I do a D3 and I'm going to destroy this system. Sometimes you just got to kill all the people. It's just for the best. Maybe not for them. All right, now we've gone around and Imperial Extropy. See whether or not I can afford to do so. Certainly can't. It's a $1 per planet. I didn't even bother looking that up. Alien conflict. All right, I think it's break time while I wait to recharge enough to be able to handle going around in that spiral again. These messiahs are getting troublesome. They both survived the alien contact. I had one thing I managed to get rid of, that Dark Emperor. All those morphogenetic powers were able to take it out pretty easily. But for the messiahs, I lost my leader over here. This one at least survived. And there's another one, the Living Nebula. That didn't go away either. That's no big deal. That's not going to cause any real problems. But these guys up to 2, that means, you know, I'm running a span across here. I think out to here and then up here. Oh, yeah, no, I reach here too. Wow. Just of non-violence happening. I'm going to have to shut those down because they really speak doom to where I am. Let's look at the expeditions. I'm not making any. I've been committing my leaders to try to deal with the messiahs. So we hit the end of another game turn, and I can't think of anything that's supposed to happen there. So we just pushed to turn 3, and I think we got time for at least one more turn in this video. Big string of events. I haven't gotten completely through a rebellion that happened somewhere, didn't it? Yeah, over here. One of my crappy systems. Cult of the Omnipresent Empire reduced my chaos by like 7, which will reduce the amount of chits I draw next turn. Defection. This is actually... one more. I had an invader out here that showed up with a couple of SFs, but he's got no combat leadership, so he should be fairly easy to take out, certainly morphogenetically. A colonization, that's going to generate a random colony well, not completely random. It's going to generate a colonization in an empty space, and it's going to be a chaotic colonization. It'll be the highest numbered space, which I think is this one. So we're going to see that just like form up as this kind of rebel center of power out of nowhere. That's kind of cool. And then this defection, this is a good event for me. It ended up, this province got transferred over to my side, and I forgot to add my things. I'm gonna owe another maintenance, and I get 2 more income. Gotta remember to do that with everything that switches. Oh, but I lost an income here. Okay, but yeah, I mean, that got rid of one of my problems, and it gave me a good leader. Leaders can go towards the empire. They can't become chaotic, I don't think. Even a usurper has its own leadership value drawn for it. I'll pull another one, see if it's... Okay, well, we got some transhumans appearing, we'll see. I'll continue through. And my random events segment ends with the following. The transhumans were on my side. Shut up over here. This attrition marker, that killed one of my systems, and yes, I remembered to pay it. Destroyed this one, which I think is going to change where the colony is. I think it's going to be here instead. Yeah, that's the highest numbered colony, so we'll get a random chaos colony there. And then a freebie imperial leader, which I took over here. I'm not sure I want him there. I think I want him with this leader, actually, because that way he can go on this. Oh no, this guy could too. I want to go on the expedition with a leader. Basically, this one is going to go try to quell the damn messiahs, because they're gonna just be a problem. So this was a fairly pleasant turn for me, actually. If things go well, those messiahs aren't so terribly dangerous, because I won't be drawing many chits. Maybe I can suppress them with nexuses, with other chits and stuff that I buy. However, if things go at all wrong, those guys just screw my life over completely. So I've got to get rid of them. I cannot be a pacifistic country or empire. All right. We have no use. Yeah, I'll go forward. We have no usurpers. We have no independence anymore. That got wiped out over here. We do have an invader, however. So let's make a quick roll on the invader. He has no leadership. Huh, that other one had a leadership. I don't know if I rolled for that. In that move higher and attack. Okay. The force moves to the next higher sector. So he goes from 24 to 25, and he doesn't find anything to attack there. So he's done. And now we're going to go to the independents, and I'll start swirling around and dealing with them, because they might turn into, or the rebellions, they might turn into independent empires. Or this guy might launch an attack against me or something like that. Much more here. The independent rebel that was here dissolved due to attrition. This one, he got an attack. But we got our colonization in place. Nice rich province, something I probably want to take, even though it's going to be an expensive thing morphogenetically. And now we're up to the imperial taxation and resource collection. And honestly, we don't have a lot. We make $3 back. Unless I want to just remove some things in order to build others. I don't think I terribly want to do that, but we'll see. Yeah, I built myself a nexus for $5 now. That increased my maintenance cost to almost what my income is. I really don't like that, but I'm hoping to gain control of some more planets here. Notably, I've got the transhumans. I've got 2 of them now, and they've doubled in value. They're both 2/2s, so they're getting better as the chaos goes down. So overall, you know, I feel like I'm getting a little stronger. If only I can deal with those damn messiahs. And no colonization still. You know, I really ought to be buying colony ships. They're not that expensive instead, but yeah, I'll do that later probably if I have money later. Okay. And now we'll go to the movement and I'll try to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Those damn messiahs means there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do. The only place I can fight is here. I'm at +10 table. I didn't need all that, but my transhumans can't do anything better, so let's see what we get. We get a crappy roll. We get a D0, which isn't enough to convert this. Boy, we get nowhere. Alright, Imperial Extropy. Again, I don't have the kind of cash to do anything with that. Alien Contact, I'll run through them. I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, well, I failed in my first one and lost my damn leader. But I did manage to wipe out 2 of the aliens, including one of the messiahs. So, this is not quite as bad as it was. However, the messiah came out on the first turn, I believe. That should be going up to a 3. I'll fix that in a moment. I want to do the expedition phase because I'm doing one here. I've only got a level 1 leader. Now, I have abandoned the one? No. I'll do the blue as the first die because I got this in my hand. 3 to 4 here. New sphere. Go to Ert and roll a die. On an even result, you put an Imperial world ship there and gain an illumination marker. On an odd result, place a Chaos world ship in the sector. That doesn't sound like go to Ert. So go to Ert should say, well, I have to go to Ert and I think I have to get a positive result for something. I guess. But it doesn't sound like my positive result necessarily is going to be positive. Let me see if this is... Ooh, I could have sent a transhuman with me and that would have given a bonus. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I have to get a positive to implement the outcome. +1, I get a 3, that's a negative. I'm eliminated, and that's going to reduce my maintenance by 1. Oops, wrong. Well, I should have sent something better, but you know, I didn't. And I'm willing to screw up here and there and everywhere. Now in the game turn record phase, well, I'll upgrade that to a 3, get rid of these, and we move to turn 4. Not a good random events phase. Bunch of rebellions. You can see got some planets turning. We got this pile of CGs turning, which is actually important because that keeps me within my maintenance costs, because I lost a planet to the attrition as well as planets that went into revolt. We also have an independent empire somewhere. Shit. Where did it go? It's over here. So that was another point that I lost in terms of production capability. Also, we have some effects here. Imperial Elites demand, remember, that's not going to allow me to do illuminations, and it's going to increase the cost of the nexuses for maintenance. That's a real problem. I may not be able to maintain everything because I don't have a lot of padding there. And militarism, that's the opposite of the pacifism. That's going to give me +1 to military attacks and -1 to morphogenetic ones. And that's kind of troublesome because my ability ranges more towards the psychic rather than the physical for a number of reasons. Also got us an alien, the hive here. No combat's allowed here until that's dealt with. It's kind of like the Messiah, but nowhere near as devastating. It just prevents me from taking this system easily. I can throw a leader in there, and morphogenetic points in there will also add to the chance of defeating that, the same as some of the other abilities. And one more, the spectacle here, which is going to double any gains and losses over here on sorry, on the chaos summary chart, any actions on there, I believe, are affected, not just combat losses. All right. Yeah. So if I'm able to do what the exogenesis or whatever, that would affect it. But also, if any of these chits that came out after that one had affected it, they would double the effect. But my chaos is staying pretty reasonable right now. I'll go to the chaos operator. My invaders moved up here, and I think they can attack there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is just getting really big, though. That's the problem, is you kind of have to look at the thing. Now, they were here and moved one out from the core. That ends up randomizing which of these two territories they go to. They went to this one, which is lucky for me, but they didn't end up succeeding. They had 2 strength point units, so that's 4 combat strength, no leadership, versus 1 gives me the +3 table. I rolled a 2 since there's no modifiers. I get an attacker loses 1. Well, and the attacker has 2 point units, so they don't lose anything either. So that's all good there. And now I guess I go to the rebels. The Independent Empire I rolled for, but they can't really do anything until they start building some forces. I go to the rebels and I start seeing if they do anything. Many of them cannot. This could become they could become independent empires, but this, for example, can't attack me. It's within the range of this damn Messiah in all directions, so they're not going to be too damaged. I screwed up with one of my earlier checks that I think created an independent empire. This actually can't. The chance of it happening is based on the number of rebel units that are there. It's not an automatic thing with a no-op. So they got a no-op, but there's no possibility of that turning into a real rebellion. More troops would have to come into there for it to become more than just a rebel. And the same is true of this. So honestly, I don't even have to roll for these suckers because they're all empty. Am I getting that right? Whenever no-ops, there's a chance. If it's less than or equal to, no, on a 0 it could happen. Okay. So, but I didn't bother with that roll last time. And I'll have to make sorry about that. I'll have to make the rolls for these guys. So this guy, I make a roll to see what happens. He gets a no-op, so on a 0 he'll convert. That one up there. Gets something that he can't do. And this one gets a no-op. On a 0 he'll convert. He doesn't. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, well. Mistakes happen, right? No usurpation, no chaos colonization. Independent Empire recruiting. I got this sucker. We'll make a quick roll on the Independent Empire recruitment table. This one, I believe, has a leadership value of 1 because it has a 1 there. So that gives it, what, +1 plus the resources +2. I get a 9. I'm going to get a CG there, which is good because I think I lost one due to an attrition effect over here. I mean, not good for me. Nothing's particularly good for me. And now we go to the resource collection, and I break even, except I've got these stupid Imperial elites. I think I've got 4 of these Nexuses out there. 1, 2, 3 for all the good they did me. So I'm going to lose $4. And of course, as I move to my Imperial expenditure, I'll worry about, hey, if I want to kind of shift points around, maybe I'll do that. You know, delete some units to try to get myself some more cash more than anything else. Although I would like to get a leader here to take a shot at him. That would cost me $5 to get a level 1 leader. $10 for level 2, but I'm not counting on getting a level 2 there. I'm almost afraid to send this guy. He can only move 2 spaces. I can't move a transhuman over there, pick him up, and then move the transhuman further. So I'm going to have to, move to about here But if I can afford another leader to take another shot at this and get a bonus on it, I'm going to go for it. It just it doesn't make a lot of sense not to take shots at getting rid of that thing. That thing's killing me. So I've only got a couple of attacks I can make. Here I've got 6. You can see I got the leaders in both these places. I moved my transhumans over here so that my mission with my leader can go deal with them. I've got enough here, and I'm going to launch, well, I'm not launching an attack here because of the alien, but this does modify my die roll. And, you know, if I lose it, it gives me less maintenance costs, which is great. So here I have 6 against 4. That's going to give me +2 with a +1 on the die roll. And a 10 sounds very good. I'm going to defeat the invaders. And that's 2 fleets destroyed. I believe that gives me 2 chaos bonus over here. So that's pretty cool. And then the other attack here is not so good. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm on the +6 table, but I've got a -1 because of the militarism. And I roll a 0, which isn't good. That gives me a -1. That's attacker 2. My entire stack just converted. That is very bad. That's gonna get rid of 3 of my maintenance. That's the good part. The bad part is this is morphogenetic, so that was only 1 each. So I gained 4 chaos from that, and that's not good at all. I can get rid of that. Extropy, I sure don't have enough money to pay for anything. Alien conflicts. All right, here are some of the important things. Let's see. Let's make sure I don't have any. It gets me dizzy trying to play this game. I'm a +1 against the evil one. I get a 6. That's indeterminate. I believe that doesn't do anything with the Messiah. Nope. So I get to keep my leader at least. And then the other alien conflicts here, I'm a +2. On that, I get a 10. I get to get rid of the hive. That's one problem I don't have to deal with, I guess. My expedition, I'll be a +2. Well, first, I have to roll on this table. Blue will be first. And I could have used the Imperial Order for this and then used the trans for something else. Oh well. Technical discovery. Roll 3 dice. The Empire receives a number of resource points equal to the total. Oh, that's sweet. And that doesn't require an AERT result. So I just got 15 bucks, and that really is something I needed. The expedition goes away. Oh, crappies. So what did I destroy here? 2. That's 2 more in my favor, but I lost 4, so I actually lose 2 more, or gain 2 more chaos. I forgot about the spectacle being in play there. All right, and I failed with him again. It looks like that's about it, and this just keeps getting bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, pretty soon it's going to cover the whole map. It'll be the only thing that I can do in the game. All right, that pushes us to turn 5. We slide over, and I throw a bunch of dice up here to remind me what's going on, and I think I'll load this one up.